We're here against the backdrop of some of the posters of just some of the many, many plays performed by Bangalore Little Theatre over the 60 years it's been in existence. And joining us, some veterans of that theatre group. Jyoti Makija, you've been involved with BLT for a long time.
Yes, I was in college when I first joined. It was 1964. And I remember going for the audition and actually paying 5 rupees, I think, for the subscription, if I remember right.
They managed to extract 5 rupees for you.
Yes, if I remember right. Yes. And then the first play I acted in actually was The Ungrateful Man. That was in 1966, 66, 65.
1966. When was that?
65, I think.
The Ungrateful Man, 1966. Yes. Spot on. Good, yes.
But I acted in many others after that. But they're there, some of them.
So that was your first play?
That was my first play, absolutely, with that David Horsburgh.
BLT.
First play for BLT, yes, of course. College plays are different, but that was the first play for BLT.
Marvelous.
And with David Horsburgh directing. And that was, I think it was a privilege. It was a privilege. And he used to come on stage and he'd do all kinds of crazy things. He'd come on unexpectedly in the crowd scenes. Absolutely unrehearsed. He'd dress as a beggar or something, and suddenly we're in the crowd scene actually doing a rehearsed thing, and he'd come on stage, and we someone didn't know what to do.
It would make us forget our lines because we had suddenly...
kind of like Hitchcock used to make these quick little cameo appearances.
Cameos, yes.
Sunita Mirchandani, you've also been involved for a very long time.
Just like Jyoti, we were together in college and then we used to just, all of us, do things together. And I think when you said George Oaks Building and Bishop Cotton Boys School, I think then all we used to do was stand at the door and check people's tickets or show them to their seat.
To be involved in the theatre as an usher or whatever.
Yes. And then we really and truly got into it with The Ungrateful Man.
But Sunita's one play that I will never forget and which was a huge success was The Little Hut.
Oh no, but I was not part of the cast. I was not part of the cast.
She was helping backstage, but there are stories to that, which I won't tell you now. It's a long story.
There were only 3 people in the cast in that play, and there was quite a number of backstagers, and I was one of them. And for some reason, they only remember what went on backstage. And
I think there's a whole lot of interesting stories there. I think, should it be a play?
I have no idea what's the big deal about this.
Casey Shekhar, you also have a long connection with BLT. What has it meant to you?
Mine is earlier than hers.
Okay.
I joined in 1962.
Wow.
I was just out of the college. I had just started my professional work in DRDO.
Yes.
At that time, we had one leader by name Nani.
Nani, yes, of course. Yes.
Nani said, "You come along, we will work there. There are no people for stage work, you come there." So Macbeth was the first play. That was in 1962, I think.
1962 Macbeth, absolutely correct. Yes.
It was directed by B.C.
Yes.
B. Chandrasekhara.
Okay.
And the Todds, whose names were mentioned so gloriously earlier in the evening, Mr. and Mrs. Todd. Both of them acted in that one as Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. A fantastic play it was. And for us...
What was your role?
Sorry?
You were backstage or what was your role?
I was in the backstage. I was not acting.
Never went to front.
I only one play I acted with him.
Act in one play. We both were acting in one play. This was Shantata Kaur Chalu Ahe.
That was in 1971.
And I was the lead and Shekhar was there, but that was one of the best plays that BLT has done.
Lovely.
I've had people come and tell me we still remember that play.
So backstage and that one play.
One of the things in that play which stood out is BLT as a theatre group first started having various departments.
Okay.
For example, stage team, management team, lighting management team,
Props
management team,
yes.
everything.
A very professional approach to theatre.
And the ushers, gatekeepers, everything was done. Now, in this play, the stage management team was asked to give a budget. And my friends who were taking the stage work, I was not on the stage work that day, because I was taking part in the play. They said, we will give it, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. I was in the committee, I had to answer the committee. Committee did not agree with that. Ultimately, we gave a massive bill, 110 rupees.
110 rupees. That sounds scandalous.
Even during those days, 110 rupees was a very small amount.
Even then.
So what we did for that play was, it had to be a window. Window bars were made out of old cloth posters which were left over. For every play we were having posters for banners. Those banners were cut into pieces, we made them into
Those are the bars.
bars, window bars. And only one major item, the rooftop, had to be shown. That roof only we got it done by a cane worker opposite to Gayan Samaj, next to Gayan Samaj. Transportation expense for the entire thing was 10 rupees.
Fantastic. That is production. That is production
And
cost.
the entire thing was constructed by us. We did the painting. We did everything by ourselves. And she did Jyoti Banare, Miss Banare.
Banare. I was Banare, Miss Banare.
I did Carney.
Shantata. That was, I think the first Indian play that BLT did.
No, it was
Was
not
there?
the first Indian.
No?
Mrichikatika was
Oh,
done.
Mrichikatika, of course.
Mrichikatika was done.
Mrichikatika was before
That
my
Vasant
time,
Sena.
correct.
Vijay Padki did was Shakara in that one. That was
You're
Mrichikatika.
right. I was.
Then Apakari Kathe, I mean, Ungrateful Man was done.
But Ungrateful Man, yes, but written by David Hosmer.
It was a translation. It was a translation. Okay.
No, Ungrateful Man was
based
not a
on the
translation.
Panchatantra. Based on the
It was translated into Kannada.
To Kannada later, and Ungrateful Man had a cast of nearly 100 people.
Yes.
Wow.
And we had two casts.
The Monkey Squad was aged, actors were aging from 2 years to 22 years. All the people were there. 2 year.
Oh, the young monkeys.
They had monkeys. Doreen
Doreen
was wonderful.
was carrying
wonderful,
one child, 2.5-year-old child with a tail behind him and continuously walking around.
Sarir Bhatta, you also go back a very long way.
Yes.
A long way.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
has it meant to you, all of this? These memories that are coming up.
I did a few plays for BLT. One was Phoenix Too Frequent,
Okay.
where I was acting with this young American girl called Judith. Judith, what was her second name? I can't recall. Anyway, she was with a college that was here in Bangalore at that time, Callison College.
Okay.
And that was my first play. And then, of course, I did Wait Until Dark. And I did Cyrano de Bergerac. And, we took Cyrano de Bergerac all the way to Calcutta.
Oh, wow.
A big cast of, I think, must have been about 30, 35.
That was the one with
30.
Simha as
With C.R. Simha, yes. And in fact, I had this fencing scene with Simha on stage. And we had, practically real type of fences.
I presume you took some training for this.
So,
We had some training.
we had some
Some
training,
training,
but
yes.
Simha would always say, Zari, don't get too serious about this fencing.
Simha had
You
a
know.
natural difficulty in his vision. He always had to be using those glasses, and if the glasses were not there, he would actually become mad. Now, on the play, on the stage, he could not use the glasses.
Unlikely at that. Yes, exactly. It's a period.
But he was a fantastic actor.
My goodness,
Yeah,
such
I had
power, such strength.
yes, and I had the privilege of acting along with him.
So I
And-
can just see how much BLT has really meant to all of you. I mean,
yes,
it's just
of course. In those days, it was BLT was the big name in Bangalore. I mean, if anybody wanted entertainment in English theatre,
Really the
it was BLT all the way.
One of
And
the-
then, of course, after a play at night, we would go standing outside Deccan Herald and wait for the first paper to come out to see the review.
reviews.
There would be a whole gang waiting there about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
BLT was everything. All of us were working otherwise. Every evening we were meeting. At the end of the rehearsals, we would go out to some place where we could have a beer. And on the day of the performance, after the first night's performance was over, it would go on till 3:30 or
Waiting for those papers.
Yes, we had
And
to
on
see
the way
it.
back home, we would
We had
collect
to see the
milk.
review.
Grab the papers. Is my name mentioned? Is it mentioned in a good way? Is it mentioned in a good way?
In fact, there is, I don't know whether you remember, there is, even, well, she's in Bangalore now, Reema Kashyap. I used to dread her reviews because she was so caustic in everything.
As against this, as against this, there was a reporter. There is a reporter only. He is not a critic. Reporter only. In the Hindu, he would write the story of the play.
That was a review. What happened? This has happened in the first scene. This happens at the end. I can just see the love and the affection and the happy memories here of BLT, Bangalore Little Theatre, the leading English language theatre
Only
performance,
English
the
language
only
theatre.
one at that time. Now you've gone. Now you've gone.
Another one.
Now you've gone to other languages as well.
The Bangalore Amateur Dramatic Society.
They didn't last.
Bad.
They didn't last.
They didn't last.
they-
BLT survived.
BLT has survived, and the posters here showing just how many years they've survived, how much they've done, and you can see from here, these are the performance, but the audience too has loved what BLT has done over the years. It was back in December 1959 that the first idea of Bangalore Little Theatre actually surfaced. We have here just some of their many, many performances. There's here The Importance of Being Earnest back in 1960. All kinds of a wide variety of plays. English theatre meant BLT back in those days. This, some of their posters, and joining us, Padmanabha Arkulgud, who you go back a long way with BLT yourself.
Yes, I did. I am one of the first members of BLT, and my program started with Dear Departed in Town Hall.
Okay. Which year was that?
That was, I think, around 58. I have forgotten.
Okay.
And then it was Prodigious Snob,
Yes.
in which I played the music master.
Okay.
But what is best to me from BLT is the way Mrs. Todd taught me voice modulation,
modulation, okay.
and voice strength. She used to sit at one end of town hall, asked me to go on the stage and whisper, and said, "Until I hear, you can't come down." And it was a great training.
Wow.
Today,
And you still...
today, without the mic, I can make myself heard anywhere.
Because
so
of that
was
early, distinct training.
training.
You said the Prodigious Snob. It is, in fact, the very first play listed here, back in 1960.
3 one-act plays. That was 61. Now I see. After that, I was away from Bangalore, so I came back now. But those were days. For the first time, we had experience of English plays. We always used to do a lot of Kannada plays, National College, Ravi Artists and all that. But this one introduced us to English plays where we had to get trained on diction, intonations, timing, voice modulation, a whole lot. That was good.
Of it, a whole
But then one thing about those days, theatre, it is not that an actor just went and acted. He had to do all sorts of things, including setting up the stage. So we would work up to 3 o'clock in the morning and go to near City Market, Ishakia Hotel or something, eat something and go home. And that was the kind of culture we had.
The dedication, the
Dedication.
love for what you
No, actually we enjoyed being together to the extent that I failed 3 times, dropping out.
Now, this theatre, BLT, is one of the theatres which has survived all these years, despite the era of streaming services on the internet and everything. It has survived. What is the secret?
Now, basically, from the beginning as a culture, people who are serious about theatre came in. It's not that anybody walked in and no. And once they came in, they understood the rigors of training for performance. It's a very, very serious thing. It's a serious thing in life. If you want to act. Now, when I came back to Bangalore in 1994, after some days, you must have heard of Green Room, which is run by Bhargavi, Bhargavi Narayan. So she said, "Why are you keeping quiet? Come." And I joined them and went on to
You
make
loved
plays.
theatre. Theatre was
I loved theatre. even today I love theatre.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bangalore Little Theatre, memories, veterans expressing their love for what they had done for theatre as well. BLT is a Bangalore landmark, a Bengaluru landmark, and memories of those who took part, memories of those who watched the plays, 60 years on, still thriving. Joining us, Vijay Padaki, the heart and soul of the theatre. To start with, an impossible question for you. What has it meant to you, BLT? What has it meant to you personally and as a theatre man?
I'm a complete loyalist. BLT is my first theatre group. It will be my last. Right? Everything I've learned in the theatre, everything I've done in the theatre is with my roots here. And it means much more than just having a performance group.
A series of events are planned through the year. What can we look forward to in this Diamond Jubilee year for BLT?
We have a fine, young and bright bunch in the group who have taken complete charge and they run things. I'm just a trustee. I'm very happy to have sat back and just allow things to happen the way they should happen. So they're all there. They've planned a revival of some of the great plays over the last 60 years in the year 2020.
Okay.
It's not easy to choose them. 250 plays.
Not an easy task to pick your favorites.
But they've chosen a small number which can be called the great plays. And not just that, they're inviting other groups to join us in celebration by producing the plays and performing for us. That'll be done through the year 2020. Yeah.
Now, we saw books being released today, plays in print.
Yes.
What did we see? What is coming out first, and what are the plans ahead?
Well, the first 3 are out today. We think there'll be a total of about 9 to 10 volumes.
Okay.
All kinds of plays, full-length plays, short plays, sketches, adaptations.
All right, yes.
A minimum of 9 volumes, perhaps 10. They'll all be coming out in the next few months.
Today, I think we saw children's plays, classics as well.
There'll be at least one more volume of children's plays, because that's sort of flagship. It means a lot to us. Children's plays, children's theatre are very big for BLT. So we are likely to have at least one more volume of children's plays. But in addition, we have shorter plays, which is part of our educational program.
Yes.
It is meant for schools. That will also be included in another volume altogether.
60 years since December 1959, when the idea was first floated. In this era of streaming services, of entertainment being available on everybody's phone, how strong is the theatre movement? How strong is BLT at this point in Bengaluru?
You know, well, most people who know me say that I'm an incorrigible optimist. So I think I see the beginning of a revival in the theatre. I see some good signs.
You're optimistic, yes.
I'm hopeful that it'll survive and it'll do well in spite of the competition. We should accept the competition. There's no point in cribbing about other sources of forms of entertainment. But theatre is unique because it's live. So
It is always there. Theatre will always be there.
So I'm pretty sure it will pick up. And it's good to know that more and more schools are actually coming to us now. We don't have to go and sell it. Schools are asking us to help, and that's a very good sign.
Excellent. It's the future. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
60 years of BLT, a Bengaluru landmark. Many more plays to come, many behind, but many, many more plays still ahead for this theatre group. With DM Kumar, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.